In Colorado, there's a principal, and most people think when you're in school, the thing you want to do is get out of school. Well, this principal wanted to stay in school, and she got fired from her job because she did something that, a lot of people fail to do sometimes. She did the right thing, and she was trying to do the right thing. The system got set up so this way when kids who were slightly more impoverished, they supposedly to get a stamp on their hand, so this way they would know that, hey, this child doesn't have any money in their food account. So that way when they come up, they say, oh, you got a stamp on your hand. No food for you. You don't get food. None for you. This, and she was fighting this. She was fighting this, saying, hey, this is being disrespectful because, these kids, they got to walk around with a little stamp on their head. Why don't they put a big star right there on their shirt? Like they did in Nazi Germany. Yes, and I brought up the Nazis again. Because this is how they identified the Jews, by putting something identifying them on their clothing or on their body, and they had to wear it all the time. This is the same damn thing. You're putting a stamp on them. You're telling them, hey, these people are impoverished. And then these people are being targeted by other kids saying, hey, you got no lunch money and shit like that. And kids can be cruel, come up with all kinds of things. Now, there is only one little upside to all this. With the kids having the stamps, they're not going to get robbed for lunch money because they don't have any. I'm sorry, that was really bad. But the kids are being humiliated because of this, and I don't think it's right. Now, the parents who found out that this this principal who was fired, they got together and they're trying to get this lady her job back. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, what an awful thing to do to children. I mean, you don't have enough money for food? Okay, we'll mark your body. And mark your body with a symbol of shame, stupid poor kids. Mm-hmm. Tell your parents to stop being lazy and make more money.
Right.
And, what's also awful is they fired the school principal for speaking up against it. And she said in her interview that when she came to him with it, they were actually, not, supportive, oh, yeah, we never thought of it that way. They were just like, who the hell do you think you are telling us what to do?
Right.
And so they fired her, and she said she was going to get a lawyer, and she absolutely should.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think she should get one, and I hope that she wins. And it sets this school system to shame. And seeing as it's got a big national attention now, that maybe that some pressure will come down on them. Public pressure will go, hey, from all across the country, they'll say, what are you doing? You're shaming kids for no reason other than the fact that they're poor. That's absurd.
She's got the parents on her side too, which is good. So.
Yes, absolutely, and that's the important part. If it had been her saying, "Yeah, we should stamp the kids," and she got fired because she said that, I would say yes, then fire her. But she was not the bad guy here. She was saying, "Don't do this. This is not a thing you should be doing." I think the star, the Jew star thing is exactly the same thing. Its only difference is it's an economic level versus a religious level. That's the only difference. Connie, your thoughts?
Okay. I spent the last, I don't know how many hours researching this. What happened was I was curious about the whole story about the stamping. And first of all, this was Principal Ronnie, Noelle Ronnie's beginning of her 6th year. She came there 5 years ago from Seattle. About 5-6 years ago, the school district, this school was a charter school and began in 2000 as part of Boulder, Colorado school district. And their policy was that you could pre-buy your lunch tickets for your kids. If your account ran low, they would stamp the hands of the children who were going home, so that because kids lose notes, right? Mm-hmm. You put a note in their pack and it doesn't make it to the parents, but the parents see the stamp, they know they need to come down to the school and make a payment.
Right.
And but here about 5-6 years ago, they started doing things online, and people could pay, a different way. And so this school principal was not aware of this policy, although Sam Todd, the director of operations with the school district, is trying to claim that, it's offensive that food services, it suggested that they would intentionally do anything to stigmatize others. And he's doing all this damage control, saying this is a policy that's been in place before, like 5 years ago. But I'm sitting here going, wait, no, she wasn't even here 5 years ago.
Right.
This wasn't, she didn't know about this. And it hasn't been a school policy. Now, the other thing happened this fall. Sorry, there was so much, and I don't want to talk too much about it, but what happened this fall is they got a brand new system and a brand new operating system, brand new software, and they had 6 new employees, 6 new food servers. And when and the thing broke down because the cashier couldn't tell which kids were supposed to have free or reduced lunch,
Right.
and which weren't. And that's what makes this really awful, is we are talking about kids who are already poor. They're on these service, they're supposed to get free lunch, and they're getting, and so instead of notifications going home to parents like by email, these kids' hands are getting stamped. When the principal found that out, she came in and she says, you need to stop that. She talked, and she didn't just tell the workers, she went to the chain of command, she went to the food service manager,
Right.
and said, look, you need to stop this. And the food service manager refused, and they kept on stamping. The director, Sam Todd, tries to claim that, once we found out what happened, we immediately stopped doing it. No, that's not what the principal says. And so when the principal realized that it was still going on, she took the food manager in front of the staff and all the other people and said, look, this has got to stop. The food manager resigned. The food manager quit immediately. And the board of directors and Kelly Reeser, who is the educational overseer for the board, wrote her up and put a disciplinary note in her file and said, you need to take the blame for this food service manager resigning, and said that the principal had unprofessional conduct.
Yeah.
And with a later meeting with the board, they summarily fired her, and the board tried to say, yeah, but it wasn't in retaliation, which is a load of crap.
Right.
And the parents got together with the staff, and because this school is an at-will school, they're at-will hiring, and that means that they can be, the teachers, anybody could be let go at a moment's notice.
For any reason, yeah.
But the problem is, you see, for that to be the kind of environment, they walk into that knowing that, but it takes a great degree of trust between employer and the board, the teachers and the board and everybody, so that you don't think that any little thing I do could get me fired. So now here all the teachers are freaked out. And so as of January 3rd, the parents got together and they are recalling the board of directors, what is his name? I can't remember his name. And then one of the other board members, and they're electing, have 4 other people that they're going to elect to put in the board.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll be able to get their principal back. She would love to come back, and the kid, and it's just so tragic. It's a bunch of people with egos and crap, and it's awful. It's just awful. Anyway. So I hope she gets her job.
I hope she does too. Yes, absolutely.
And she was an advocate for the kids.
Absolutely, yeah. And the fact is, a lot of people who go into the teaching profession and get into principal eventually, they're there for the children. They're there for the kids. They're not there just for themselves, because teachers don't pay a whole hell of a lot. They're not getting rich off the system. I just want to comment here that Dawkins said in the chat room, he says, it's not like the Jew Star unless the kids are put into a separate line that leads to the gas ovens and not to the serving counter.
Oh, now I'm thinking about the Simpsons episode where they're eating the kids.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You said ovens. I'm like...
No, but I was more into the analogous, the analogy of, they would be at least identified. There was just the identification, not between who was going to be, go to the gas oven, If they do go to the gas oven, maybe they have to take out the lasagna, make them work for their money. You want some lasagna? You have to work for it now. Yes, we'll put you in the coal mine of the lunch lady's room.
Stamp hand children to the left. Don't touch the barbed wire.
Anyway,
it's too soon, Joe. Too soon.
Too soon, Joe.